Hello out there and welcome home to the Northwest Arkansas Real Estate Channel. My name is Blake Yount. I'm with Collier Associates. Phone number is 479-363-4331. And I am doing a video today on first-time homebuyers because I'm working with multiple first-time homebuyers right now in this hot market, and a couple of them have mentioned their gratitude for the advice that I've given them. So I wanted to condense some of that down and give it to you in case you are close to getting in the market as a first-time homebuyer. These are just a few things that you need to know and that we can go over if you're looking for a realtor to help you out. So the first thing I always talk to first-time homebuyers about is the timing. How does it work? So are you living at your parents' house? Are you in a lease? What does it take to break the lease if that's what you do? When is the lease up anyway? Because we need to try to time up the purchase of the house with the expiration of the lease, or if you're going to break the lease, you need to make sure you understand the terms and you have the money and whatever else to get that done, because that's first and foremost. It's before you go talk to a lender, before you do anything, you want to work out the timing of the purchase of your home. Okay, and the second thing to consider would then be your financing situation. So you may have saved up some cash that you have for a down payment or something like that, but you'll want to go talk to a lender before you go look at any homes, just so you know what you are qualified to buy, because you don't know until a lender tells you what you're qualified to buy in real life. And then on top of that, if you get qualified for, let's say, $250,000 worth of house, you need to ask your lender, what does that look like for monthly payments? Because you probably don't have $250,000 in cash that you're going to spend, so you're going to be paying this thing off over a period of 10, 15, 20, 30 years, to whatever the loan term is. So you might not want to make the $250,000 house monthly payments. You might ask, okay, well, what does it look like if I buy a $225,000 house? Maybe that fits better into my monthly budget. So the timing of the sale first, with consideration to how you're going to get out of your lease, or if that's even a concern, and then your financing situation next. You want to have that nailed down. I have partners that I work with that I can refer you to. I'd be happy to send some business their way. They are excellent. And along those lines, something else that you need to know about that a lender is probably not going to bring to your attention, because welcome to the real world, they've got products to sell. Something they don't always talk to you about are first-time homebuyer programs offered by the state. In Arkansas, you need to ask if you qualify for the Arkansas Dream Down Payment Initiative for first-time homebuyers, and ask your lender what that means, what it does to your loan. Are you a lender that works with the state of Arkansas on first-time homebuyer programs? You need to ask that question. They probably won't bring it up for you. That's why you need an agent to help guide you through the process, because I can't tell you how big of a difference some of these things that are available make for your buying power, the quality of home that you can get into, and everything else. It is so important to understand that stuff. So I think we're on number 4. Anyway, we need to consider the location. So here in Northwest Arkansas, this 4-county area, you're pretty much within an hour of anything, whether you're in Benton County, Washington County, Madison, Carroll. It's within an hour, but you need to think about where you work, think about the traffic, the different times a day. Are you willing to put up with it? All these different things. Do you want to be closer to family, further away from family, as it may be the case, whatever. But you really want to narrow down where you'd rather be, because we don't need to be running all over Northwest Arkansas trying to find you a house if you don't want to make those concessions as far as your travel and things like that. So consider location big time. Now, along the lines of the actual house itself, you have to understand that the house that you have built up in your mind as the perfect house, we're probably not going to find. So what I tell first-time homebuyers is that go ahead and dream about your 100% house. If we find it, then we're all going to celebrate, and I'll call the president and tell him that something amazing just happened. What you're probably going to find is something along the lines of 75 to 80% of what you want. So you're probably going to be able to find the bedrooms and bathrooms that you want. If you need the big master suite, you're probably going to be able to find that no matter what price range you're in right now. But you may have to give a little on the size of the yard, whether or not it's fenced in, the size of the garage, 1, 2, or 3 car, if there's a garage at all, or if your dream home has a big shop on it, you might not get the shop in your price range. It depends. You just need to know going into it, because some agents out there will tell you that, yeah, if that's what you want, I'll find you that, and then you won't hear from them again because their job becomes impossible at that point. I'm here to tell you right now that you can give me criteria. I will do my best, my damnedest to find it for you, but I'm going to send you things that closely match what you want. I'm probably not going to send you listings and show you homes that are exactly what you want, and then you have to decide what makes sense for you and your family. So keep in mind, 75 to 80% of the house of your dreams is probably a pretty darn good find. So let's move right on down the list. Something that you may not have considered. Okay, we talked earlier about the timing of the purchase, the timing of moving into the home as it relates to your current living situation. Even if we set everything up perfectly, right now lenders and title companies, everybody's so overwhelmed with the amount of business going on that sometimes it gets delayed by 1, 2, 3 days, sometimes even a week. The lenders, the loan officer that you talk to has a team of underwriters and other people behind them that are doing all kinds of work on your loan trying to get it processed. And there's a lot of shuffling papers and things of that nature that could potentially slow the transaction down. So you need to have a plan B on top of understanding the timing, how to get out of your lease and actually moving. You need to have a plan B if there is some kind of delay, so you can talk to your landlord or your rental manager or your parents, your friends, whoever you're living with. You can talk to them and say, can I stay X amount of days beyond this if it comes up? And if not, then you might think about maybe having a storage unit temporarily where you can have all your things, and maybe talking to some friends where, hey, we might need to stay with you for a couple of days, and but we're not going to bring all our stuff. We have arrangements for our stuff. It's just going to be us, and you like us, right? We're friends. Can we just hang out? Some kind of contingency plan if the transaction gets delayed, because it happens all the time. All the time these things get delayed. So you need to have a plan B. And if we talk in person, I will reiterate that, because it is very, very important to me, because I want you to enjoy this process, and I want you to know what might happen up front, all the unpleasant things that might happen up front, so that you can plan for them and make arrangements and minimize their impact on the enjoyment of the process for you. So we've covered all that. There are a few things, 3 things left to cover. I want you to understand there's a lot of for sale by owners in this market, and it's an excellent strategy in this market if you're trying to sell your home on your own. I don't begrudge you that opportunity at all, because, well, there's a severe lack of inventory. There's just over a month of inventory in Benton and Washington counties right now, so it's a seller's market for sure. But if you're a first-time home buyer, I want you to understand that a lot of the for sale by owners I talk to, they go onto Zillow and they check the Zestimate to figure out what it's worth. Well, the Zestimate means absolutely nothing. Now, sometimes it's dead on. Most of the time it is way off, because it's some automated program trying to guess at what the value is of the home. Well, how can you know what the value of a home is if you haven't been inside it, if you don't know the layout, if you haven't been in the market, and you don't know what sells for more in Northwest Arkansas in particular. So if you're going to a for sale by owner and you think you're going to cut agents out of the deal and save yourself a lot of money, chances are the for sale by owner has no idea what their house is worth, and they're probably asking way too much for it, or at least an incorrect amount, and you have a good chance of overpaying for that home because it is not anywhere near worth what Zillow says it is. You need an agent or somebody that's experienced, an appraiser, if you have an appraiser friend, I'm not just saying agents can do this, to evaluate the market, evaluate the neighborhood, and figure out if the home you want to purchase is worth it or not, and then have your agent talk to that for sale by owner about how they're going to pay commissions, because if the for sale by owner is unwilling to do that, then the agent and the buyer yourself will have to have a conversation about that. So like I say, for sale by owner is a great way to find a house right now because not everybody's looking at them, and they tend to spend a little more time on the market than something that gets entered in the MLS through an agent. So you may be able to find your house that way, but you need to know the risks involved there. So next thing I want to talk about is do not be rushed, pressured, pushed, anything like that into making an offer that you're not comfortable with. You want to have zero regrets. Minimize buyer's remorse. You're probably going to sign up to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's a big transaction, the largest one you've probably ever done in your life. So you don't want to have any regrets about what you do. Now, the reality of the market is that we need to move fast when it's time for you to make an offer. Now, normally when you get pre-qualified through a lender, you're going to have 90 days worth of runway to go ahead and get a home under contract before they have to run back through all your credit and get you qualified again. So you've got 90 days, and what I recommend is to spend that first portion of that time looking at homes, getting to know the market, getting to know the location you want to go. You need to have an agent that's willing to waste a little time with you to figure out the home that you're going to buy for possibly the rest of your life, or maybe just the next 3, 4, 5 years. Anyway, you need to take time to figure out what you like, what's out there, and if an agent's standing there telling you, well, this market's really hot and you need to make that offer, if you don't like what you just looked at, or if you're not comfortable with it, guess what? Something's going to come on the market tomorrow, maybe the next day, maybe 2 weeks from now, that's a lot like the one you just looked at, and I promise you the right house will come along that you feel comfortable about. So don't have any regrets. Don't let anybody put you in a situation where you're going to have extreme buyer's remorse and guilt. You do not want that. You want to enjoy this process as much as possible. Trust me, it should be fun, and you should get the home that you want. So no regrets. Remember the 90 days worth of runway that you have before they have to start messing with your pre-qualification again, and don't be in a rush. Find the right house. And that's one thing that I want to leave you with also in this market, because things are moving quickly. I think the average first-time home buyer is $250 and under as far as what they're qualified to buy. And those houses move like the wind in this market. If they're in decent condition and they're priced right, they're probably not going to be on the market much longer than 1, 2, or 3 days. They'll go under contract. So my recommendation and advice is not to fall in love with any particular property. It goes back to what I just said. Something very, very similar to it is probably going to come up for sale very soon. So don't fall in love with any particular piece of property, and I wouldn't even get ahead of yourself once it goes under contract, because then we have inspection that might turn up something that you don't like, and then we have the appraisal where the home might not appraise for what we offered to pay for it, and then we have to renegotiate and it might not go through. So there are several steps along the way after you get one under contract where you don't want to celebrate prematurely, get too excited, fall in love, things like that. You want to have a very balanced mindset, especially in this hot market where you're probably going to be in a multiple offer situation, and at least for that stretch of time where you're getting something under contract and you're going through the closing, a process that takes 30 to 45 days, you don't want to get over emotional about it. You want to stay balanced until that puppy closes, and then pop the cork on the champagne. We can have a great time and high five and everything else we want to do, because that bad boy is yours now. So that's what I've got for you. I think that's like 10 different things that first-time home buyers should know before they get into the market. A few things that you should do prior to getting in there. And like I said, I am working with several first-time home buyers right now. Some of them are ready to buy today. Some of them it's going to be next year sometime. I don't mind. I really want to help you through the process and get it right for you, because you can only buy your first house once, and it is such a cool and awesome thing that I would be honored to be your agent here in Northwest Arkansas. So give me a call, 479-363-4331. Once again, my name is Blake Yount. I'm with Collier Associates. Hope you had a great week, and heading into a strong weekend, go out and enjoy Northwest Arkansas. We'll see you next week.